Hey everyone, today we are back on the drum throne, different location, and today we're talking about the newly announced 2019 Corvette ZR1. So what do I mean by the Corvette ZR1 is getting GTR-itis? Basically, what I mean is it's climbing way too high in price for a front engine car. Back in 2009, everyone loved the GTR because it was the working man's dream car. It was under 90 grand, so people could afford it. Nowadays, what's the GTR that everyone talks about? The Nismo. That's the only one that's relevant and can compete with anything really. That's 2017. And what is that price at? Over $120,000? And now the Corvette C7 is unfortunately following in the same footsteps as the GTR. It is becoming way too high in price. When the 7th generation Corvette first came about, everyone loved it. It was a great bargain in 2014. You could get a 460 horsepower V8 engine in a decently light car, and you didn't have to pay 80 grand, 100 grand, like German competitors or Italian competitors. And even when the Z06 was released, that was still a great bargain. To get 650 horsepower in a car under $100,000 was unheard of. Now in 2017, if you want to pick up a Z06, it's still a great deal because they offer discounts on them, and it's well under 100 grand. Even the Grand Sports, that's another great Corvette, under 100 grand. But when you start getting over $100,000, people associate that with a supercar, and I mean it is really, over 100 grand, that should be reserved for, extreme luxury like a Rolls-Royce, Bentley, or, high-end Mercedes and supercars basically. Performance cars, they shouldn't have to be over $100,000 unless you're getting something redonky-kongulous. So for me personally, with all the options you have in 2017 for American performance cars, to charge over $100,000, I don't really care what you do. If it's not mid-engine, that's kind of a ripoff, even if it is a crazy lap time. And while the new ZR1 may be the new king of the track, it may pull a better lap time than the ZL1 1LE. For how much more? Almost double the price. It's not half the lap time, but you're going to pay double the price for what? You're going to beat it by a second? Maybe 2 seconds? I'm not going to get all vehicle virgins on you and try to name 5 things I hate about the new ZR1 because it's an awesome piece of machinery. 750 horsepower, over 700 pound-feet of torque, all of the aero, the new interior. It's incredible, but not $125,000 incredible. So just as a refresher, in case you're not caught up with all of the new American performance bargains out there, I'm going to name what I would rather have and spend my money on. So I think you know what I'm going to name first. I'm sitting in front of my damn Camaro. The ZL1, the new ZL1. Look at the ZL1 1LE. That is such a capable track car that goes fast in a straight line, and it's great around corners as well. Now the argument could be made that the new ZR1 will ride much comfier than the harsh ZL1 1LE. Well, what I would do is I would buy a ZL1 with the mag ride and 6-speed manual and add the aero bits and modify a ZL1. Hell, you can make it faster even if you wanted. And it would cost well under $80,000 to customize your ZL1, whatever you want it to be good at. And there really is no argument like, oh, the Corvette's lighter, look at the Grand Sport, it's 3,300 pounds. Well, the ZR1 is most certainly not 3,300 pounds, it's 3,900 pounds. The exact damn same as the ZL1. As a matter of fact, the ZL1 1LE is a little bit lighter than the new Corvette ZR1. How messed up is that? So now if we bring up Dodge, what do they have? They have, of course, the regular Hellcat. I know it doesn't put the power down the best and it's not much of a cornering car, but still a great deal. You could find them for under 60 grand used, or even at a dealership. Some have incentives. So next up from that, they have the new Hellcat Widebody, and I think that's a freaking phenomenal car. If you get a Charger Widebody Hellcat, if you're not going to be at the track and you're not much of a mountain goer, canyon carver, you don't live in California and stuff, you're not going to notice that it doesn't go around corners as well as a GT350R and the new Camaros. It goes around corners better than most cars, and of course you got more than enough power with the engine. Getting a little off topic, but worth a quick mention, is the Demon. That's an awesome car as well. Purpose-built drag car, 840 horsepower. That's a really special car that Dodge made, and did they charge over $90,000 for it? Nope, it is under. Now I know that they're making a limited amount of them, so it's a little irrelevant, so we'll go on to the next one. So lastly, we have to bring up Ford. And what do they have? They have the Focus RS, yes, but we are talking a little bit higher than that, so we're talking about the GT350R. And that thing, I think that car is freaking automotive Jesus. That thing is so cool. I think they get a little gimmicky with their marketing, how they promote the flat plane crank thing so much. That flat plane crank is not the only thing you can do to a car to make it rev to almost 9,000. But not to take anything away from their accomplishment, because that is damn impressive. Now, I don't think I've seen a motor that big rev to 8250 before. 5.2 liters? Correct me if I'm wrong. Comment if there's a car that does that. So about the GT350R, that is such an exotic engine to be in a car like that. They started with a Mustang, the S550 platform, and I mean, it's an impressive car. I mean, mainly because of the engine, not so much of the car itself, but what they turned it into is just insanity. Like, I've heard people and journalists talk about how its turn-in is so direct and so sharp, it feels like you're turning in a Porsche GT3 RS. I think a lot of that has to do with those carbon fiber wheels on the R package, because you're removing all that unsprung weight. So if you've ever wanted a Ferrari 458 Italia, you can probably get around 90% of that same feeling from the GT350R. And for what, a quarter of the price? It's priced in the mid $60,000 range, and now there is the big elephant in the room that there's a ton of markup on them. Even the dealers near me, they have them listed for around 90 grand. But if you get to know them and you talk them down, you can get it for $80,000, maybe even less. And so then you could bring up, okay, well, it's down on power. Well, you could potentially supercharge it, and people, it never takes more than 10 grand to get that done, and build the motor or reduce compression, whatever you need to do. It's not going to cost over 10 grand. Okay, so you buy it for 80. Now you're at 90 grand. So now you have a fast ass car, probably over 800 horsepower with that exotic engine, and it turns in great. It weighs around 3,700 pounds, and yeah, you're under 90 grand. To me, that car is way better than the Corvette ZR1. So anyway, I think we're going to wrap up this video. It's getting a little rambly at this point, but I just wanted to name some cars and better options on why you shouldn't be so impressed by the new ZR1. Is it the king Corvette? Is it probably the best Corvette that's ever been made? Yes, it probably is, but the competition is too bargainy nowadays. I mean, you can get crazy cars for 60 grand. I mean, every $10,000 you go over 60 grand, it just gets better and better and better. But then when you start getting over 100 grand, it's like it stops being like a great bargain, in my opinion. How about that Tesla Roadster though? I can't wait till that drops. 1.90 to 60? Damn, that's gonna be frightening acceleration. So what do you guys think about the new Corvette ZR1? Is it worth that money? Is it not? Am I just crazy? Whatever you guys think, leave it in the comments, and I'll be seeing all of you guys in the next video.